Okay, good morning. So election day is approaching. Don't forget to vote. So my wife has voted. She's put one in one of the ballots, official ballot. Don't forget to use an official ballot. Not one of these ballots. Not one of the Republican unofficial ballots. I haven't voted yet, but I've filled the form in. So today, so I'm going to dedicate this to school children because I know a lot of school children. My daughter's in, she's second year at high school. I know a lot of kids are struggling with the online, and you know it's a little bit depressing, right? So, and they're missing out on socializing, various school activities. So let's hope they get through this okay. Today I was thinking we would work on hips mostly, but we'll do some shoulder work because I want to work our way up to cow face pose, Gomukhasana. So we'll see how that goes. So plenty of hip stuff. We'll start off on our backs, do a little core work, a little bit of hip work, and just go from there. So come onto your back. A little bit of breathing to begin with. So you're on your back. Now you want to make sure the chin is nicely tucked. You don't want the throat opening up like this. So if you need to, you could place a little cushion under the head. What I do is I lift my head up, tuck my chin, and then I place the head down, trying to get that length in the neck. And then just place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart, somewhere on the ribs. And we're just going to focus on the breath. And feet are on the ground, knees bent. Just start off with regular breathing. Take 3 or 4 breaths. I like to close my eyes. And we're going to start taking deeper breaths. And you want to inhale and exhale through the nose if you can. So as you inhale, you're feeling the belly rise slightly, and then the lower ribs expand, and then the upper ribs. Exhaling through the nose, upper ribs contract, the lower ribs, and the belly. Inhale, belly, lower ribs, upper ribs. Exhale from the upper ribs, lower ribs, belly. We're trying to make it a nice smooth transition. Inhale. Exhale. Just go at your pace with your breath. Long, slow, deep breaths. Trying to pull in a little bit more air each time. Now bring the hands behind the head, so you're gently supporting the head. Now, if you have any weakness in the back, what you can do, you can just pull the knees in like this. Otherwise, straighten the legs and lift the head up. And you're pushing the lower back into the ground. Abs of steel. Really push that lower back into the ground. So the legs are straight, the feet are maybe 6 inches or so off the ground, the head is a few inches off the ground. You're breathing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come all the way down. Okay, nice wake-up call for Saturday morning. Breathe. One more time. You're pushing the lower back into the ground, you lift the legs up a few inches, you lift the head up a few inches, supporting it with the hands for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then come all the way down. Now again, if you prefer, you can have the knees in and you can just keep pulling the knees in like this. If you want more challenge, the legs are straight, and we're going to bring the legs vertically up to the ceiling, and we're going to very slowly take them down, all the time pushing the lower back into the ground. And then we lift them back up. This is a tough one, so bend the knees if you need to. We're lowering, and I just keep them an inch or two off the ground before I bring them back up. And you want to try and breathe. As I say, bend the knees if you need to. This is tough. With the legs straight, there's a lot of leverage. You have to really work that core to keep that back nice and safe. And I feel this one. This is a tough one for me. And then we're going to bring the legs all the way up to the ceiling. We're going to hold it there. Head down, arms either side of you. The arms are at about 45 degrees from the body. And we take the legs over to one side about halfway down. Back up to center. Down to the other side about halfway down. So just like windshield wipers. Don't take the legs down too far. Makes it too difficult, but take them down far enough so you're getting a little bit of a challenge. The slower you go, the more benefit you get. And the arms pushed into the ground are going to really help you go slow and to help you get those legs back up. All the time we're trying to keep 90 degrees between the legs and the torso. And you're breathing, don't hold the breath. I like to inhale coming up, exhale go down. Inhale up, exhale down. And as you get into a rhythm, maybe you can start taking the legs down a little bit lower. A couple more each side. Inhaling coming up, exhale going down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Legs back to center, bend the knees, bring the feet down to the ground. Okay, take a little breather, tough ones. So next we're going to go up and down into bridge. We'll come up on the inhale and down on the exhale. So whenever you're ready, inhale coming up, exhale coming down. Take your time. Inhale up, exhale down. Now as you come up on the inhale, you're pushing the lower back into the ground, you're engaging the core, you're bringing those hips up, you're keeping that core engaged as you come down, and you release the core briefly, and then you engage the core again as you come back up. Inhale coming up, exhale down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. This time hold bridge. Inhale coming up. Gaze towards the ceiling, interlace the hands, walk the arms, shoulders nice and close. And a little bit closer, and a little bit closer. Remember, do not gaze to the side. You're pushing the feet into the ground, you're pulling the feet towards you, you're opening that chest, you're breathing. Take about 5 breaths. Feel that chest expanding. Stretching out the front of the legs, the front of the hips. If you feel any discomfort in the lower back, maybe come down a little, engage the glutes, keep that back neutral, you should be fine. And then we slowly come down, releasing the arms, bring down the upper back, mid back, lower back. Knees come in, gap between the legs, try and push the legs together for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fists between the legs, try and push the legs apart. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try and push the legs away from you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull the legs towards you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feet down to the ground. Bring the left leg onto the right leg. So it's like a figure 4. We're going to keep the right foot on the ground. You're going to place the left hand onto the inside of that left leg, and you're just going to try and push the leg away, just opening that left hip. Keeping that foot that's close to you, the top foot, flex, dorsiflexion, pulling the toes in towards the shin. You breathing. So I feel this on the inside of the hip, nice hip stretch. And we switch legs, bringing the outside of the other foot onto the left leg, and we're pushing that right leg away. Right foot is flexed. Breathe. We switch legs again, and this time we're going to pull the legs in just like figure 4, recline pigeon, and you can take hold of the back of that right leg, pulling the legs in, and just a gentle stretch, stretching out the outside of the left hip this time. Switch legs, stretching out the other hip. Remember, you're keeping that right foot flexed, dorsiflexion. Trying to keep the tailbone down, but the lower back can come off the ground slightly maybe. Working on the right hip this time. And then we're going to bring both feet down to the ground again. Knees bent, feet on the ground. You take the feet slightly wider than hips, arms either side of you, and we windshield wipe. This time we're keeping the feet on the ground. Just taking the legs over to one side, up to center, and over to the other side. And this is going to stretch out the outside of the hips a little. Again, you're using the breath. Inhale coming up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. So we're going to get ourselves into a seated position. So you can either come onto your side and push yourself up, or if you want, you can hold onto the back of the legs and just rock yourself up. And just come into a seated position. And we'll just work on the shoulders a little bit, just loosen up the shoulders. Because we're going to work our way into Gomukhasana, cow face pose. So we need open shoulders, open hips. So I'm just working on one shoulder at a time. I'm bringing the shoulder forward, up, back and down. Just rotating a few times. Then the other shoulder, maybe up and down, both shoulders, whatever feels good. Just try and loosen up. A few little neck stretches, bringing the right ear to the right shoulder. You want to keep the shoulders relaxed. We're just stretching out the side of the neck here. Inhale up, exhale to the other side. Inhale back up, and we're going to look over the right shoulder. Inhale back to center, look over the left shoulder. And we're just going to go from side to side, moving with the breath. Take your time. Let the movement follow the eyes. So the eyes are turning, you're trying to look behind you, the head will follow. Back to center, chin to chest, and we'll just do a few head rotations. Rotating the head in one direction. Again, going slowly. Maybe about 3 rotations. And just notice any creaks, any cracks. totally normal, or at least I hope so, because I've got a few of those. And we come back, chin to the chest, and we go in the other direction. Now, if I'm doing this by myself, what I'll do is if I find any particular tight spots, I'll hold it there and just give that area a little bit of extra attention. You know, as a group, it's difficult to do that because we're all a little different, right? Ending up with the chin at the chest, come up, interlace the fingers, push the arms forward, extend the arms forward, fingers interlace, shoulders back, sit tall. We bring the arms up to the ceiling, trying to frame the face. Be kind to the shoulders. Don't let it hurt the shoulders. You know, if it's tough on the shoulders, just bring the arms slightly forward, but eventually we're trying to get the arms in line with the ears. And next we're going to take the arms behind us, but we're going to interlace the fingers instead of this way, the opposite way. It's a little bit strange. And we're going to open the chest, lifting the arms up, folding forward, looking forward. You gently fold forward as much as you can, and then you start tucking the chin, and you bringing the arms a little bit higher. Come back up. Bit of a side stretch. Left hand over to one side, a couple of feet away. Inhale the right arm up. You inhale, you're reaching up as much as you can. Exhale into that side stretch, looking up towards the ceiling. Inhale, we come out. Exhale, we extend the other hand over to the other side. We inhale the left arm up, or whichever arm you're at. You might start on a different side to me, but we want to get length on an inhale into the stretch on the exhale. Take a few breaths. Inhale, coming back up. So this next one, my wife Kim, she's always saying she's got discomfort in the middle of her back, so I tell her to do this. I tell her to extend one arm forward, bring the shoulder back, and pull that arm in. She's super flexible. She says, "Oh, I don't feel anything here." But for me, this is a nice stretch. I feel the stretch in the upper arm, across the shoulder, and across the upper back. So I do this one a lot. This is a nice one. And this arm, you've got to pull above the elbow. If you're below the elbow, you're not going to feel anything. So you've got to have that arm that's doing the pulling above the elbow to feel anything at all. But even some of you, maybe you don't feel it if you're super flexible. Other side. Extend the other arm forward, shoulder back, and then we're going to pull this arm in. So I'm pulling that right arm above that left elbow. I get tall, I'm pulling that arm in, and I'm stretching out all across the upper arm, through the shoulders, upper back. This is a good stretch. I like this one. So we're getting the shoulders, the arms ready for Gomukhasana. Okay, eagle arms. Extend the arms to the side. So we've got lines of energy through the arms. You want to make sure the hands are nicely lined up. No floppy hands, no tension in the wrists, just a nice line. And when we're doing the warrior poses, Trikonasana, you want that nice length. So always think about how you're holding those hands if you can. The fingers. You can have the fingers together if you want, and maybe a little gap between the index finger and the thumb. Or you can have space between all the fingers, it doesn't matter. So back is neutral, shoulders are relaxed. So you're starting to feel those arms working. The shoulders are working a little bit. Eagle arms, we bring the right arm under the left arm. And we get the back of the hands parallel like this, or we could try and bring one palm inside the other palm. You center in the arms, and you're going to see if you can touch the nose with the thumb. And then we're going to lift the arms up. And this is going to stretch out across the upper back between the shoulder blades. Eagle arms. And we're breathing. Remember, we don't hold the breath. There's some yoga or pranayama where we do breath retention, but we're not doing that. Arms either side of you. This time left arm under the right arm. Hands parallel, back of the hands or the palms. See if you can touch the nose first. And then we're going to lift those arms up. And then we release. Let's do a gentle twist. Let's just work the shoulders a little bit first. And then let's twist to one side. So I'm twisting to my left, so I'm bringing my right hand outside my left leg. Other hand behind you. Easy twist, and remember the twist follows the gaze. Inhale back to center, exhale we twist in the other direction. Inhale back to center. So we've gone through like 25 minutes of the class. We haven't even got into a standing position yet. We could do a whole class just on the mat like this. Maybe we'll do that one time. Sometimes if I'm practicing by myself, you know, I'll just be on the mat. But we're going to come onto our hands and knees. We'll do cat-cow. So you're getting the wrists. So you don't want the hands too far forward. You want to pretty well get the wrists underneath the shoulders. Then you can go a little deeper with the cat-cow. Inhale, belly down, head up. Exhale as you round the back and tuck the chin. Inhaling into cow. Exhale, cat. We're moving slowly. We're breathing. That Ujjayi breathing, remember, was restricting the flow of breath slightly through the throat. This allows us to breathe a little bit more slowly. And we synchronize the breath and the movements. So next we're going to come into dolphin. So we're going to bring the forearms to the ground. Elbows are still under the shoulders. You can keep the palms down, forearms parallel, or if you want you can have the palms together. And then we tuck the toes. We bring the hips up. I would keep the knees bent. So you want the head off the ground. If the head is touching the ground, probably the elbows are too far apart, so get the elbows closer. So you want to keep the head off the ground, you're tucking the chin, and then we're pushing the mat away. We're trying to get more of a straight line, elbows through the shoulders to the hips. It's almost like an upside down V. Top of the V, the elbows and the toes, bottom of the V, the sit bones. You're breathing. Another shoulder opener. Hold it. Bring the right leg up. Extended dolphin. And then we're going to stack the hips. You're opening that right hip. You're bending that right knee. You're breathing. And then top foot joins the bottom foot. So we bring the other leg up. Extended dolphin other side. We stack the hips. Trying to bring the left hip directly over the right hip, and we're bending that left knee. And then top foot joins the bottom foot, knees down, and we come into child's pose. Back on your hands and knees. Thread the needle, another arm stretch. Also stretches out the lower back. We're going to take the right arm behind the left arm, and you're going to rest the right side of the head on the ground. The right arm is on the ground, you're reaching that right arm, so I'm still reaching with that bottom arm, and I'm pushing that left hand into the ground a lot. And here I feel a nice gentle stretch, lower back, on the right side of the back. You're breathing. So the more you reach with that bottom arm, the more you push into the ground with the left hand, the more you're going to feel the stretch. You breathe. And then other side. Hands and knees. Thread the left arm behind the right arm. You're on the left arm, left side of the face. You're reaching with that left arm. You're pushing the right hand into the ground. Right elbow up towards the ceiling. Then just feel that good stretch. Probably lower back, left side. Back on your hands and knees. So as I say, when you're in cat-cow, the wrists are directly under the shoulders. To get into downward facing dog, we walk the hands forward an inch or two. That's a good distance between the hands and the knees and the hands and the feet. And we come into downward facing dog. And we're going to get that V shape again. And you're pushing the thumb, index finger into the ground. You're pulling the armpits towards the ground. Chin is tucked. You're looking between the legs. Knees can stay bent if you want, if you need to do that to keep the back neutral. If you can keep the back neutral with the legs straight, that would be cool. If the heels touch the ground, that would be good too. But number one, keep the back neutral. Feet come a little closer. Another hip opener. This time from extended down dog, we stack the hips again, opening that right hip. We breathe. Keep both hands solidly on the ground. Switch legs. Other leg comes up. Stacking and then stack the hips, bending the other knee. Okay, try this. Back into down dog. Walk the feet a little bit closer. Maybe 3 or 4 inches closer. What happens this time is it lets you get the heels down. You're more likely to be able to get the heels down in this pose. But this time we're going to reach right hand to the outside of that left hip. Grabbing the outside of the left heel, left ankle. So we're grabbing that left ankle and we're pulling a lot with that right hand. And then we switch, reaching for the outer right ankle with the left hand, grab and pull. And then back into down dog. We walk our way into plank, chaturanga, inhaling to up dog, opening that chest, should feel good. Engage that core as we exhale back into downward facing dog. Look forward, walk forward between the hands. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, half salute. Reach up, look up. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward again. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, mountain, Sadhastiti. Inhale, reaching up. Get length. Exhale, folding forward. You're hinging at the hips. You're looking up. And then finally, you're tucking the chin. Inhaling halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward again. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, mountain. Don't forget, bend the knees if you need to, especially if you have any back concerns. Bend those knees as you fold forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, folding forward and down, bending the knees if you want. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward again, knees bent maybe. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, mountain. One more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, Samastiti. Come into chair. So we're in chair, inhaling. Exhale, we fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands. We're in plank. Chaturanga, inhaling to up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up to the ceiling, extended down dog. Exhale, we sweep that foot through. We come into warrior one. Let's take warrior one, a breath or two. On your next exhale, we come back into plank. Chaturanga, or knees, chin, chest to ground. Cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, we sweep that foot through. Back foot turned in. Warrior one other side. Take a breath or two. Next exhale, plank. Chaturanga. Inhaling into up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 or 4 breaths in down dog. Chin is tucked. You're looking towards the belly button. You're pushing every finger, every thumb into the ground. You're pulling the armpits towards the ground. You're breathing. You get in the back neutral. Or at least try and get the back neutral. We look forward. We walk forward between the hands. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Knees bent. Inhale, back into chair. Exhale, Samastiti. Inhale, chair. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands. Plank. Chaturanga. Inhaling into up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Extended down dog. Exhale, we sweep that foot through. Back foot turned in. Warrior one. This time we're going to add warrior two. So on the next exhale, come into warrior two. And what I do is I just take the feet a little bit wider in warrior two. I check that knee's nicely lined up with the foot. And I'm looking over that right knee. We're going to add eagle arms. So look in my direction, and you're going to bring the left arm under the right arm. So instead of looking over the knee, you're looking towards the side, and we're adding eagle arms. We extend back into warrior two, reverse warrior, and then we flow to the other side. Plank, chaturanga, inhaling to up dog, exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up, exhale, we sweep that foot through. We're warrior one on the other side. And then we come into warrior two. Readjust the feet, so you may be taking the feet a little bit wider. Just check the arms are nicely lined up, knees nicely lined up with the center of that foot. Eagle arms, bringing that back. So if your right leg is straight, you're bringing the right arm under the left arm. Eagle arms. Back into warrior two, reverse warrior, and then we come into plank. Chaturanga, inhaling into up dog, exhale down dog. Plank, chaturanga, up dog, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. So we're going to go into a low lunge. We're going to bring that top foot between the hands. Back knee down to the ground, and we're in that nice lunge. If it bothers the knee, you can fold the mat, add a little bit of cushioning, perhaps. So what I do, you know how I do this, guys. So I sink a little bit, but this you get a little bit more arch in the lower back. So I try and pull. I'm not moving that right foot. I'm trying to pull it in. That just takes the pressure off that back. And then if you want a little bit more challenge, you can tuck the toes of the back foot, and you can bring that knee off the ground. And you're going to feel a good stretch front of that back leg. And we slowly come down. We bring the hands down. We walk that right foot forward an inch or two. And on the exhale, we extend the leg. And we're going to keep that leg extended. We walk the hands in a little bit closer and just get a gentle hamstring stretch. Bend the knees if it's too intense. Eventually you're going to be able to straighten the leg. Toes, kneecap pointing up towards the ceiling. And then we come back into the lunge and into lizard. So we're bringing the forearms. If you can, you bring the forearms to the ground. If you have a block, forearms on the block. Or you just have the hands on the floor like this. And we're just getting a bit more of a hip stretch. It's the same kind of stretch that you would get if we were doing Happy Baby, but we're just working on one side here. We come back up, and I think we'll just rotate through 180 so that we're doing a lunge on the other side. Rather than, sometimes I'll flow into it, but this time we'll just do that little easy rotation. We're sinking, we're pushing that left, pulling that front foot forward towards the back knee. We're trying to relax the shoulders. And then work on the hamstring. Hands down, I'll walk that foot forward, that left foot forward an inch or two. And then I'll extend that leg. Oh, we forgot to bring the back knee up. Okay, so back into the lunge. And see if you can bring that knee up a bit. It makes you work a little bit harder, right? And then we lower the knee slowly. Then we come into lizard. Hands can be on the ground, forearms can be, or the forearms can be down, or the forearms can be on the block, whatever. We're all different. And then we slowly come back up. So the arms, I'm going to see if we can do this. You're going to see my back view for a bit. So I'm just sitting on my heels, and I'm taking the left wrist with the right hand, and I'm going to try and bring the back of that hand between the shoulder blades. Then I bring the right arm up and I try and hook those fingers. And I'm trying to slide that lower hand up the back. And then another thing, I'm trying not to push into the head. Now, if you can't get contact between the fingers, what you could do, if you have a strap, you could hold a strap with each, part of the strap with each hand, so you've got the strap, or you could just hold on to the opposite elbows. If it's too much for the shoulders, you could just hold on to the opposite elbows behind you. This is a stretch. Another thing, you want to try and avoid pushing into the head. So some people, their arm is pushing into the head. Don't let the arm push the head around. The head is in control. So don't, you want a bit of a gap if you can between the head and the arm. And then we release slowly. And move the shoulders. the best thing about some of these poses is coming out of the pose, right? And it feels good, so good coming out of that. Not that the pose hurts, but you know, it's good to come out. Other side. So I'm grabbing my right wrist with my left hand. So you can see, you can wave. I'm trying to get the elbow, that right elbow, as centered as I can before I bring the back of the hand between the shoulder blades. As I say, if this is tough, you can just hold on to the opposite elbows. Next, I'll bring that left arm up, and I'm trying to keep it fairly close. I don't want that elbow to go out to the side if I can avoid it. And then I'm trying to hook the fingers. I'm pushing into the neck, but I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible. So I've now hooked the fingers and I'm trying to slide that lower hand up the back slightly. Then I can take pressure off, total all the pressure off the head. Now I've got a good grip. And as I say, you could have a strap there if it helps and you're breathing. This is how we hold, typically, this is how we hold the arms and the shoulders when you're in the full cow face pose. And we release. We just stretch out a little bit. So before we go into cow face pose, let's do standing pigeon for a change. If you have a block, take a block and you're going to put it in front of you at its fullest height. If you don't have a block, no worries. The block is just there to help with the balance. We have the feet together, we bend the knees, so it's basically chair pose. And then we bring the outer left foot onto that, outer right foot onto that left leg. So it's standing pigeon. If you'd rather do reclined pigeon like we did earlier, you can do that. Now to begin with, this top foot is flexed. To begin with, my hands are just resting on that top leg. I'm bending that's the knee of the standing leg a lot. I'm trying to keep the back neutral. So if you look at the side view, it's like this. And then the block is there. So if you want to go lower, you can just have the hands on the block. Block has got 3 heights. You can even bring the fingers down onto the ground. So you can see I'm trying to keep my back neutral all the time. The lower I go, the more I bend that knee, the more hip stretch I'm going to feel. And then we come out. The next stage in that is called standing pigeon. The next stage would be add a twist to it if you want. Or you could bring the hands to the ground and you could do flying pigeon. But we'll save that for another time. Other side. Outer of the left foot onto the right leg. Top foot is flexed. Resting the hands on that top leg. Just stretching out that left hip. And then, as I say, if you have a block, the block is just there to help you keep the balance. I mean, if you don't have a block, you could use a book, you could use a chair. And if you can go lower and it feels good, you can bring the fingertips to the ground. So good, really good stretch. And then you slowly come out. Imagine, this is what I used to do when I used to work in high tech. Imagine you're at a conference, you're sitting around a conference table like this. What I would do, I would bring one knee up and then I'd come onto the toes of that bottom foot and I could push this knee against the underneath of the table. So I could be doing some yoga stretches while the meeting was going on. So there you go. If you're still going to lots of meetings, you can add a little stretch during the meeting. Nobody will notice. Okay, what's next? Gomukhasana, another nice hip stretch, also known as butterfly pose. If you were sitting down, if your knees are up, your back is rounded, sit on something, a book or a block or something. You want to keep the back nice and neutral. I'm holding onto the feet, I'm rocking from side to side. As I rock, I'm bringing the heels a little closer in, but you don't have to. You can keep the feet further away than I do, creating a diamond with the shape of the legs. And then I become still. I'm using quite a lot of arm strength, pulling those hips forward, trying to keep the back neutral. And then I try and encourage those legs towards the ground. And if your legs go all the way down and you want a little bit more, you can start folding forward, resting the forearms onto the inside of the shin, and then you can maybe even touch the toes with the forehead or the nose. Quite a hip stretch. Cross the legs. Okay, next. Take the right leg. So if this is too much, you can just do an easy stretch with the legs crossed. But the next, if you want to try, see if you can try this. See if you can do this. So my right shin is parallel to the edge of the mat. And then I'm going to bring my left leg on top. I'm trying to get that left foot more or less very, very close to that bottom knee. There's a little gap here. We want to try and close the gap. So I'm just gently placing the left hand on that top leg, trying to close the gap. My right hand is on the ground, just so I've got a little bit more leverage. So it's like this. Some of you might all be like this. Some of you are like this, some of you can come all the way down. For those people that can get that full contact, you're probably okay to do lotus and a full lotus position, but we're not going to do full lotus today, but that's just an FYI. I feel this on the inside of my left hip mainly, a little bit in the right hip, but mainly the left hip. And we're going to switch legs. Take your time. So I'm bringing the left leg in front, so the shin is parallel to the edge of the mat. My right foot goes on top. And then if it's really tough, don't forget you can just sit with the legs crossed, or you can keep doing Gomukhasana. And then we're trying to get contact between the legs, just like this. So cow face pose. I'm pulling the right foot in and I'm bringing the left leg on top. So it's almost like you're trying to, this is how we get into the twist, right? But instead of going into the twist, we're trying to stack the legs. So again, I've got this gap. If this is as far as you want to go, that's just fine. But if to get any further, I want to try and close the gap. The only way I can do that is to come up, squeeze those legs together. We've done this before. And then I sit down between the legs. Keep the knees nice and happy. So this is how the legs are more or less in cow face pose, Gomukhasana. Then we add the arms, just like we did before. Now if you can't do that trick of hooking the fingers, you can just hold onto the opposite elbows. Now if your left knee is, I think this is the way they do it, if the left knee is the top one, then is it the left elbow pointing up? Not that it matters, but I'm going to do opposite elbow. So if the left knee's on top, I'm going to have my opposite elbow facing up. I'm not sure which way the hands are, but I don't know that it really matters. So we're trying to hook the fingers again. And as I say, if you want to just hold on to the opposite elbows, that's just fine. Here we go. Gomukhasana. We're getting an arm stretch, a shoulder stretch, a hip stretch. You're trying to keep the back neutral, and you're looking like a cow. Or the face of a cow. Why does it look like the face of a cow? Well, you're going to have to Google that. And we release. I say that's always the best part. Okay, to get to the other side, we're going to circle through 360 degrees. So we're going to try and keep the feet in place. If your left leg is the highest leg, you'll circle clockwise, like this. And we end up with the left leg on top. Then I've got to come up a little, squeeze those legs together, sit down, back down, and then I'm bringing, so my right knee is the highest. I'm going to bring my left elbow up towards the ceiling. So I'm bringing my right hand between the shoulder blades, and then I hook the fingers, Gomukhasana, on the other side. Try and keep that head relaxed. And we release. Should feel good. Okay, since we're here, let's do a little bit of a twist. Switch legs. We could have rotated through 360 again, but we're not going to. So I'm pulling my right foot in, my left foot is on the outside of that left leg. It can be on the inside because you want that left foot solidly on the ground. And then you're going to hug that left knee, or you're going to bring the arm on the outside of the leg. You then get tall, and then you go into that twist. Inhale, getting taller. Exhale into that twist. Inhale, unwind. We switch legs. Right foot solidly on the ground, inside or outside the leg. If it's outside the leg, you can get a little deeper twist. You're then hugging the knee, or you're trying to leverage. As I'm bringing that, if I bring the left arm outside the leg, I try and round the back so I can get a little deeper, and then I start to straighten up, and then I go into that twist. And I'm breathing. Inhale, unwind. And then just come into an easy seating position. Just work the shoulders a little bit, just relax there. Maybe a couple of head rotations, tuck in the chin. And just gently circle the head in one direction a couple of times. Ending up with the chin at the chest, and then circle in the other direction. And then time to come onto our backs. So I'm going to go this way. Onto your back. Full body stretch. So bringing the arms over the head. And you're trying to get as much length as you can. Reaching with the arms, reaching with the legs. Breathe. Add a little bit of a side stretch, getting into that banana shape. Take about 3 or 4 breaths. And stretch out the other side. Recenter. Shavasana. Again, lengthen the back of the neck, keeping the chin tucked. Arms either side of you, palms towards the ceiling, palms up. Eyes closed. And just totally relax. Maybe moisten the lips. Just checking the body, make sure you're not holding any tension. And just let yourself sink into the ground. Just let yourself get really heavy. So let's start taking deeper breaths. If you want to stay in Shavasana, that's fine. If you're ready to come out, just roll over to one side. Try and keep the eyes closed. And then gently push yourself up. Going into the seated position. Inhale as you sweep the arms up. Exhale, bring the palms down, palms to chest. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep the palms together, keep the palms at the chest. Let's take 3 ohms. Inhaling through the nose. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good weekend, and you're welcome. I'll see you guys next week.